We have as our special guest on the program today, Dean Dillon. Dean's been a long time. Welcome back to the hometown.
Nice to be back. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. We've been playing quite a few of your things around Q105 FM. The latest thing that we've been playing that Dean has written is Once You Get the Feel of It, Con Hunley's new release on MCA, and I believe that's his first release on MCA, right?
That's correct. It's produced by Steve Dorff, who works with Snuff Garrett out of L.A., and I brought the song to Con at the Spence Manor Hotel in Nashville, and he heard me pick it on the guitar and liked it and put it down on plastic.
That's great. What have you got in the works right now that you're excited about?
Not much of anything. No, I just finished recording a new session with a new producer, Blake Mevis, who produced George Strait. And he and I just finished 3 sides on me for RCA, and you should be hearing from one of the outtakes of that session pretty soon.
You know, the album that we have, you and Gary Stewart, you had some good cuts on that. In fact, was there a couple of singles released off that album, I believe, wasn't there, Dean?
Yeah, we had 2 releases off of the album, Brotherly Love. That was our first single, which did quite well, really. We did an extensive tour. We did Dallas, L.A., New York, and Atlanta.
You did some songs. The Alabama band did them on an album, and I think it's been pretty successful for you.
Yeah, I had a thing that me and Buddy Cannon and Jimmy Darrell wrote called Changes Coming On. They're 2 writers for Mel Tillis's company. And the 3 of us got together and wrote the thing over at Mel's office. And I played it for Randy, I believe, in Nashville or Fort Payne, Alabama one. I can't remember when I did play it for him. But it was on the Mountain Music album and done quite well for me, and I was real pleased that the boys cut it.
Did that go platinum?
Believe it or not, quadruple platinum.
Is that right?
4 million.
Well, do you have one hanging on your wall?
I've got 4 of them.
Is that right? Fantastic. Dean Dillon, our special guest today on our program.
Hi, this is Dean Dillon, and we have on our program today here at WQ 105. Frank, good to see you. How have you been?
Yeah, pretty good there, Dean. Been doing backflips lately, trying to keep it down the center line.
Well, I know that's pretty hard to control sometimes. You know, things do get out of hand. But we here at the radio station are awfully interested in, you have a son, as I recall, right?
Yeah, that's right. He's 6'1", Dean.
How old is he now?
He's 18.
18? Is it true? Does he really play guitar, or is that just a figment of my imagination?
Well, I tell you, he plays the guitar all the time around the house. I think that's all he's going to do is play a guitar, Dean.
Well, now, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. I mean, you've done real well at it. And I know one thing for a fact, and a lot of people may not know this, but Dean is a tremendous rhythm guitar player. And rhythm people are hard to find. Most of the people that get in the business want to play lead. And Dean is a fantastic rhythm player.
Well, just remember this, Frank. In anything you do, it takes rhythm.
That's right. That's the number one thing. Who is, well, let's see how I can phrase this. Out of everybody that you've met since you've been in the business, who has impressed you more than any individual that you have ever met in the music industry?
Probably myself.
Is that right? other than the ego trip, who?
I'm just kidding.
I know you're kidding.
I would say that I've been impressed more by the group Alabama than anybody.
It's phenomenal, the success they've had, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and along with, despite the success they've had, you know, they're just great, good old country boys, man, and are still that way now.
You don't happen to know how long they've been together. I know I've heard stories that they were together years, you know, playing different places back before the big money started rolling in.
They played Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for 12 years before they ever hit the big time.
Unreal. You make it overnight in this business, don't you?
Yeah, overnight success 50 years later.
In between takes on the interview, Dean and I were discussing some of the things that he did, and I thought I knew all the material that he had written. He hit me with one that absolutely floored me. I didn't know that he had anything to do with Leave Them Boys Alone that was recorded by Hank Jr. Didn't know it, Dean.
Well, surprise, surprise.
That's right. I didn't know you had written that one.
That was really quite a thrill to be part writer on that song because it has Waylon on it and Ernest Tubb, one of my all-time favorites.
Right.
And Ernest, I believe, is in his 70s now.
Right.
So to have, you know, somebody that has been in the business as long as he is really an honor.
That's right. Did you see the profile they did on Hank Jr. on 2020?
Yeah, I did.
It was real good, wasn't it?
Well, you know, there'll always be a place in my heart for Hank Williams Jr. because the man has been through a lot, from losing his father, who was just you know, the figure in country music, to falling off that mountainside in Montana, man. That guy has really been through some strong stuff.
That's right, he sure has.
Which is the title of his new album.
That's right, exactly. Well, congratulations on that one, Dean. Didn't know it beforehand. We're talking to Dean Dillon on our program this afternoon.
Frank,
Dean? Well, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, Dean.
Did you know, I've got a little surprise for the people out there. I bet a lot of them didn't know this. Frank Payne and I, along with a friend of ours by the name of Bert Luke, who works at the airport, the Fallon Airport, got together when I was 16 years old. I'm 28 now, so that's been a long time ago. And got some money together and went to Nashville. And that was the first time that Dean Dillon recorded in a studio in Nashville, Tennessee, and that was thanks to Frank Payne. And I bet a lot of people out there didn't know that.
Well, thank you, Dean. I appreciate that. Tell you, it's a lot of water goes under the bridge.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if you ever do me that way again, see what you have started, see what you started back then.
Ruined your whole life, didn't it?
My whole life has gone down the drain. No, I'm just kidding. I really do thank you, man.
Well, I know you do, man. We're talking to Dean Dillon on our program this afternoon. Dean, do you have anything in the works right now that we can be looking forward to hearing?
Yeah, you can look forward to hearing the big largemouth bass coming out of that lake water.
Dean, I know Dean is a fisherman. He loves to fish. And, you know, we have one of the cleanest lakes in the TVA chain, Norris Lake, right here at home, Dean.
Yes, I was out on the lake yesterday. Went out to White Bridge and put in out there. And took the wife and sister and brother-in-law out there. And we went boat riding for a while. And then I stopped and fished and threw in this little old point and pulled out a little old smallmouth. There's a 14-inch limit on fish out at Norris, which I think is really great because, you know, that putting them back like that, they get much, much bigger.
Right. Well, now they have of course, I'm not a fisherman. I've got to admit that I don't fish, but I've got a lot of friends that do. There's a bass club, I think, here in the county. They have tournaments every so often, and some of the guys that are in it are good friends of mine. Are you a member of any of those organizations, Dan?
I belong to a bass club in Nashville.
Where do you fish mostly down there when you fish?
Percy Priest Lake.
Right.
And occasionally fish Center Hill and Del Hollow Lake.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a tournament every Tuesday night. I'll tell you what, fishing, man, is just it's a therapy for any songwriter.
I bet.
It's a mind relaxer. You know, it takes your mind off the business, which is you really need to do, because I wrote 52 songs, cataloged 52 songs last year, and it gets to a point where, you know, you write so much your mind just becomes boggled and everything.
Right. And it's good therapy. I can see that.
Yeah.
I like to ride the bicycle when I can. Of course, in the wintertime it's kind of hard to do that.
Yes, sir, it is. I imagine. Kind of get a little cold, don't you?
Right. We've had as our special guest today on the program Dean Dillon. Dean, thank you very much for coming by and being a guest of mine on the program.
Frank, I really appreciate it. It's always nice to be here on Q105. I think it's a great radio station for a great area, and I wish you all the best in the world with it.
Thank you, Dean, and good seeing you again.
Good to see you, Frank. Bye, y'all out there.